I don't make a lot of boo-boos in real estate, but I will admit they do happen from time to time. And I had this one number of years back. I listed this townhome for sale and going through the listing, and I don't know, I don't even know how I forgot, but I forgot to ask the seller if the hot water tank was a rental or not. And so I never mentioned it in the listing. It just wasn't in there. And so I had agents who were looking at the house, assuming that the hot water tank was owned. So got the price they wanted, finalized. And then my client calls me and says, oh, here's the information for the hot water tank. And I'm like, so now I know I got to call the other agent. And when mistakes like that happen in real estate, it's the listing agent generally that's going to take the brunt of it, right? The client's not going to pay out that hot water tank because it's not their fault, right? I just didn't ask them the question. And for whatever reason, before that and after that, I'd never forgotten to ask that question, but I did, unfortunately, for this listing. And so, but let me say, I love the karma. I love the universe. And the year prior to that, it might even have been the same year, but I think it was the year prior, I actually had a buyer I was working with. So I was on the other side. I was working with a buyer instead of a seller, and we offered on a house, and that agent forgot to do the same thing. And so when it came down to closing, the agent calls me and said, is your client going to assume the hot water tank? And I was like, well, we were under the assumption it was owned because it wasn't in the listing as a rental. And she forgot, and she came clean, admitted it. I went back to my clients, and it was whatever it was, $32 a month. And so, yes, they were well within their right to say to that seller, hey, you know what, your agent made the mistake. We want you to pay out the hot water tank. But they were very gracious people and did not do that. And so my clients ended up assuming that hot water tank. And so fast forward to the next year when I had a similar problem, and the universe looked after me as well. And I told the agent the story, and she said, no problem. My clients, they were fully aware that they have a hot water tank charge anyway, so it's nothing to worry about. And so thank you, real estate God, for saving me on that one. So bloopers do happen, boos do happen from time to time in real estate, but learning from them is the key. And as I said, I've never forgot to ask before that incident. I never forgot to ask a seller about a hot water tank, and I've never forgotten since. In your real estate dealings, have you ever had something missed in the contract that's had to be revised or looked at after?